Hey everybody, and welcome back. Frank here. I wanted to talk a little bit about one of the challenges that we can face when we're teaching in a remote manner. If we have a subject matter that requires me to show you something, for example, if I want to show you a circuit board, or if I want to show you how to assemble something with your hands, that's very difficult to do in a webcam environment because I'd have to hold the objects up and try to show them to you, and that becomes quite difficult. So what we want to do in this case, and I'll show you my setup here, is I want to take my digital camera and I want to use that as a webcam for my computer. And I've done that in a previous video. I showed you how I set that up. Then what I want to do is mount that digital camera above my desk looking down so that I can manipulate an object on my desk and I can switch back and forth between my computer's built-in web camera and the digital camera that I have set up as a secondary remote camera. This allows me to do hands-on demonstrations in real time. So I can sit here and lecture, I can show you something, I can switch back and forth. So if you look at my other video on using your digital camera as a webcam, and if you get the Sparkle Cam software, it's going to allow you to switch between camera A and camera B as you're demonstrating hands-on and lecturing to content and theory directly to your webcam. Let me show you some images, some photographs of my setup, then let me show you that in action so you can see what I'm talking about. So here's an example of a little close-up that I have of an Arduino board, and I want to show students, maybe talk to them a little bit in real time about where they're going to connect things, different ports that I might have on this board here. There are some other companies that make dedicated devices that will allow me to get this close-up. One comes to mind is one called Elmo. What I'm doing is I'm just using a camera mounted on a tripod that's being connected to my laptop as a remote webcam. So in one of my other videos, I talk about using my digital camera as a webcam. And what I'm able to do here is I'm able to go in and using the software and the physical connections, I can switch through to me talking, and then I can quickly switch back to my digital camera as a webcam, and here I am close up on my environment here, in this case, a little Arduino unit. I can also adjust the zoom on my camera, so I'm focusing out so I can get, fairly good zoom out. I can bring devices in, I can talk about different things and say, okay, here's an Arduino unit. This is what it looks like when it's off the board. I can go in and zoom right in on one, say, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to connect power to here, and I can, lecture and then switch back and forth easily between my webcam, which is me talking, and the Arduino unit, or not the Arduino unit, the camera over here, so I can go back and forth. So let's look at some photographs. Oh, I should have screwed that in a little bit better. Let's look at some photographs of the environment. You'll notice if I put it down, I'm getting overhead light. So one of the things I can also do is put a shade on my light in this case, or have a desk lamp that gives me uniform light over. You'll notice also that I put down just a blue cloth here so that I can get the contrast, but you can see how I can switch back and forth between a hands-on demonstration and then again pop over to my webcam, and I can pop into, well, not my desktop, sorry, my webcam here, and I can switch back and forth from my webcam to the demonstration that I'm doing over there. Okay, so there you saw an example of how I had my camera mounted above a cloth and I had things on there and I was focusing in on them and doing some hands-on. A couple of considerations to think about is, one, you want to make sure that when you set up your digital camera as that secondary camera or as a webcam, that you actually get a long enough cord for that camera so that you can move it around the room or move it up or move it down wherever it needs to go. Think about the tripod and what type of tripod you have so that you can mount it appropriately. In conjunction with that is the type of lens that you're using. So in my case, for that particular demonstration, I had a 24-70 lens. If you have something that's a little bit more zoom to it, you can put it a little bit higher. If it's something where you need to go out wide, then you want to have a wider angle lens. I also, within the software that I'm using, you can choose your aperture. So you want to make sure that you have your depth of field is actually quite big so that you're not totally blurring the background there, because you want to focus in on objects. And finally, you want to make sure that you think about the power that you have to your camera. So I have a little battery pack that I hook onto my camera. It's through an adapter. I hook a bank battery on there, so I get a full day's worth of shooting or webcamming with my camera. And I have 2 battery banks that I swap out on a daily basis, charge one overnight, have the other one for the full day, and that really works out well as well. So thanks for watching. As always, if you have any questions, just put them down below. I'm happy to do more videos to clarify what I did there. But this is an opportunity for you to create an environment where you can remotely and in real time, so synchronously in real time, can show somebody a hands-on demonstration of how to work with something and switch back and forth between a built-in webcam and a mounted external camera that's pointing down on an object or at an object. You could point it to anywhere. So basically it gives you that remote control and the ability to swap back and forth. Thanks very much for watching. We'll talk to you soon.